Hi. The last video I made, I alluded to the point that when there was a podcast that I had listened to where Milo, the internet aristocrat, I think he was there, the king of Pole, Sargon of Akkad, were all talking. Well, Milo had just, Milo Yiannopoulos had just talked for very briefly, but the people I mentioned before were having discussions about GamerGate, among other things, and they were talking to another person who called in named Kaz. But during that conversation, Milo had alluded to the fact that the emailing list had lots of other publications that weren't entirely video game centered, but since they were a part of this mailing list that they're all a part of, it wouldn't be, like out of the question for for these websites to begin to write their own narrative of what is happening with Gamergate and what these people are and what they represent. Because one of the unfortunate things about Gamergate is that there is no leader, but because it's unfortunate because they normally would want a leader, because if we had a leader, they could just attack that person and say, well, your leader is bullshit, so therefore everything you say is bullshit. But since there's, no leader, we avoid that hurdle. But the other hurdle is the fact that with there being no leader, they can just decide who the leader is. And in this case, they decided that the leaders are people who were sending death threats and what have you to these people, to these these I don't know what you call them. I'm trying not to use profanity here, but these particular people in the indie gaming world that we don't like. Let's put it that way. But long story short, he said that because these other websites are, they're all buddy-buddy, they're all holding hands, that they would probably write articles in favor of the anti-Gamergate position. And after looking into that, I found out that he was right on the money. This article here, The Verge, is the one that I read in my last video. And I suspected that, this guy's probably on this mailing list to write this article the way he does. I had never actually looked at the mailing list, but now I'm going to, and we're going to find out something a little funny. We're going to be reading several articles today. You type in The Verge. A senior editor from The Verge, Chris Palanti, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce his last name. He is on this mailing list. Now, of course, he did. This is written by Rich McCormick. But I mean, after this mailing list comes out, do you actually think that they're going to have the people who are in the mailing list write these articles, or they're just going to dictate to someone else in the company and have someone else write the article? Because they can't bring it up. They have yet to even bring up the fact that people know about this emailing list. So that's one. So The Verge is in their camp. Let's look. This is another website, The Daily Dot. Gamergate pushes Intel to pull ads over feminist articles. After claiming that the gaming industry nepotism was corrupting the culture, proponents of Gamergate are now targeting advertisers of gaming media sites they disagree with. Intel has pulled all of its advertising from Gamasutra, a gaming media website that pushes articles condemning Gamergate and supporting the women who suffered online harassment because of the ongoing controversy. Since Anita Sarkeesian's 2012 Kickstarter to launch a feminist critique, that was a Freudian slip, of the gaming industry, the community has been embroiled in a sustained and ongoing standoff over women in the community who are perceived by many male gamers as threatening their culture. Many female gamers in particular, Sarkeesian and other critics. It's funny they keep referring to Anita Sarkeesian as a gamer when a 2-second trip to YouTube can clearly show you that she is not a real gamer and that she lied about being a gamer. But let's continue. Many female gamers, in particular too Sarkeesian and other critics, have endured intense harassment as a result of their attempts to discuss problematic elements of the community and the games they play. But GamerGate has taken those tensions to a whole new level. Now, angry gamers have launched a campaign to convince advertisers to yank financial support from several gaming media sites that they view as being pro-feminist. And then there's a little quote from Gamasutra from Twitter or something. This is just going into once again the this is how GamerGate started and yada yada yada. But let's take a look at some other websites. This is a affiliate of the New York Times, Bits blogs from the New York Times. New York Times is also on the mailing list. Where is it at? New York. Here it is. It's also NPR and books. Obviously a different person is going to be writing all these articles, but I do notice a connection here. Let's look at what they have to say about this GamerGate campaign. Far more of sexism and journalistic ethics has rolled into video game community, culminating in an orchestrated campaign to pressure companies into pulling their advertisements from gaming sites. That campaign won a big victory in recent days with its decision by Intel and chipmaker to pull ads from Gamasutra, a site for game developers. Notice this site. I'm just gonna go on just take a gamble and say that this site is not going to bring up the fact that Gamasutra and all of these other sites have been actively attacking gamers. The narrative will most likely just be, they're attacking feminists! Gamasutra is one of the several game sites that have published essays and articles that have been critical of gamer culture and rampant sexism in it. So I guess I was half right, half wrong. Gamers hostile to that criticism began to unite on Twitter via the hashtag GamerGate and eventually created a more cohesive campaign on message boards such like 4chan, Reddit, and GitHub. Never mind the fact that these people went out and actively got the moderators from 4chan and Reddit to censor all of these discussions. And when they say that Gamasutra is one of several gaming sites that published essays about criticizing rampant sexism in gaming culture, they forget to leave out the fact that quite a few of their claims of rampant sexism in gaming culture were unfounded opinion pieces that simply just took games and stretched them out like a fucking pizza dough and say, oh, this game is sexist. I mean, there are articles on these websites that are saying it's like sexist because Zero Suit Samus has like fucking high-heeled jet boots in the new Smash Brothers game. Oh no, the rampant sexism. Gamers hostile to that criticism began to unite on Twitter. The criticism also entailed the attack on the death of gaming. Gamers are over. They don't need to be your audience. This is a website that said gamers are not my audience. Fuck you if you're a gamer, fuck your mother. And then when they say, well, let's attack their advertising because they're attacking us and they're not supporting us, then all of a sudden we're fighting against feminists who all they want is just a space to have games, make games, and play games, which no one is trying to stop them from doing that. And it's the word feminist, it's social justice warriors. These are the people who are coming in under the guise of feminism and attacking the male readership of these websites. Let's take a look at Yahoo News, which is also which is also on the mailing list. Let's take a look at that mailing list again. Oh, and looky here. Intel issues a policy regarding its advertising in GamerGate. From Polygon, Owen S. Good, October 4th, 9 a.m. Polygon and Yahoo are in this mailing list. Let's see if Owen S. Good actually shows up in the mailing list. No, but Yahoo was on this mailing list. Where was I? Yes, here. Microprocessor maker Intel issued a statement late Friday regarding its decision to pull advertising from the uh, industry journal Gamasutra, a decision made under pressure from the movement calling itself GamerGate. They left out the hashtag. I like that. Intel removed advertising from Gamasutra on Wednesday, a decision that attracted a great deal of attention, including from mainstream and non-mainstream media. Including from mainstream and non-mainstream media. Interestingly, so far, most of the non-gaming media and mainstream media are on this mailing list. The chip maker has been targeted by by a campaign against Gamasutra and its editors at large, Leah Alexander, who has been critical of the treatment of women both in video games and in the industry developing them. That is not the reason why she was criticized. Not entirely. GamerGate arose this summer out of a series of controversies involving members of the games media and abuse directed at some independent game developers. I'm pretty sure that's a link to Zoe Quinn. Though it claims to be a protest against corruption and in the gaming press, some of its loudest voices have attacked the work and legitimacy of Alexander and other women. Question number one. Though it claims to be a protest against corruption, so so Yahoo News, a member of their mailing list, is implying there is no such thing as corruption in gaming press. They're just a bunch of misogynists making it all up as they go along. Some of its loudest voices have attacked the work and legitimacy of Alexander and other women. How is it a bad thing if some of the loudest voices of this movement are attacking someone's work ethic? They're not attacking her for being a woman. I'm glad you point that out. But I'm pretty sure when I click this link, it will be something completely different and have nothing to do with... Oh, look, it's a link to Polygon. Oh, I never saw that coming. What article is this, I pray tell? But before I read it, I want to take a look at Colin Campbell. He died. Okay. C.L.N. Campbell. All right. I didn't expect any of the people in the actual mailing list to actually write about this in their favor, but I was pretty fucking sure that these websites are still going to be in their favor. They'll just have someone else write it. A conservative group issues video game lambasting gaming's feminist critic. Excuse me. I have a cold. I'm sorry for coughing in every fucking video I make. Conservative think tank. Conservative think tank American Enterprise Institute has weighed on the issue of sexism and misogyny in video games, arguing that the whole thing has been cooked up by feminist tech writers and concernocrats. The AEIOU, sometimes Y, offers many opinions on many subjects and is generally considered to be a representative of ideas associated with the American right-wing thinking. So, once again, we all know that the American right wing is just complete bullshit, right? And the only thing is the left. If you ain't left, then it's bullshit. Many of its senior members served in the last Bush administration. Once again, hey, George Bush was a real bad guy, right? Bad man. And these people served in the last Bush administration. So they have to be full of shit, right? I mean, they rigged the fucking, the Florida ballots. George Bush, the guy who sat there for 7 minutes and read fucking Itsy Bitsy Spider when fucking the World Trade Center was getting blown up. So before we even find out the name of the person they're fucking talking about, they're already trying their damnedest to discredit her with every breath they take. The AEIOU, sometimes Y, argues that hardcore games are aimed at men and therefore ought to be free to feature imagery appealing to that audience. Summers argues that criticizing games for featuring male characters is like criticizing daytime shows like Oprah for heavily featuring female issues. And as we go down, showing footage from a documentary maker, Anita Sarkeesian, Summers mocks researchers as gender activists and hipsters with degrees in cultural studies. I think that was a fair insult given the fact that Anidia has not really cited any real sources or has any academic merit to the videos she produces. Sure, she has a degree in whatever. I forget. I don't exactly know what degree she has, so I'm not going to attack her and say she doesn't have a degree or she's uneducated when I don't know that. But I do know that her videos are poorly cited, no real sources, and almost all of her arguments are easily debunkable just by common sense. There's lots and lots of YouTube videos debunking these silly arguments. She argues that because gamers don't make people violent, sexual imagery in video games cannot contribute to misogyny. In any case, she continues, millennials are far less prone to prejudices. Critics of games only want to make the male video game culture to die. She says. She claims that those who disagree with feminist critics have used logic, evidence, and humor to state their case. Although she mentioned that Sarkeesian and others have faced serious threats. Note how there is a link to the serious threats, but there are no links to the people who have made a logical, fact-based humor in their videos to state their case. All of the calm people who were simply stating, I do not agree with Anita Sarkeesian, and this is why. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Those are the reasons why I don't agree. No, but we do have links to those serious bomb threats. Let's take a gander. I wonder what site we're going to be linked to. Oh, never mind. It's just another Polygon link by the same fucking guy. Sarkeesian driven out of her home by online abuse and death threats. We already know about this. Yada, 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 yada. So once again, the only narrative that you would see from this whole debacle is the narrative that these people in their hug box want to spin. You will not see any logical counter-argument. They may talk about these logical counter-arguments, but they're not going to show you. They're not going to give you links to these people. And at the bottom it says via America. Oh, you know, that's the. And I guess at the end that's the end of this article. I apologize. I really do for all this coughing. I need some tea and some honey after this video. But my point is, these are just a few websites, but I'm still going to be looking for more. And I hope that I have shown anyone who watches this that already, day one, they are trying to spin the narrative to tell the world at large that we are an anti-feminist organization solely targeting feminists who are in gaming. And it has nothing to do with the corruption, the nepotism, the fucking roundtable emailing list. It has nothing to do with them attacking gamers, calling us all sexist misogynists, and we hate women, and yada yada bing bong. It has nothing to do with any of that. And of course, when a they don't even tell you her. It's just conservative groups. Conservative is like a swear word. It's like a racial slur at this point. I'm not even a conservative. I don't even have like a real allegiance to the left or right wing. I'm kind of I have on certain things I'm conservative, certain things I'm not. But to simply just try to discredit this woman, based mom of all people, that which is a funny name. I wouldn't really. I guess that's the name people want to call her, but I don't really. I think it's a silly name, but you know, nicknames stick sometimes. It's just, well, there is a link to her video. They at least did her that.
Have you heard that most video?
Okay, that's like I'm not gonna play the whole video. I just wanted to make sure that that was actually her video and not some kind of parody or something. All right, that's the end of this video. And if I find any more articles about the Gamasutra fiasco that are linked to the Breitbart mailing, or once again, more free plugs for Breitbart. If you don't know about this site, you might want to take a gander because this is probably one of the few sites that actually gives a shit about legitimacy in gaming. Well, that's all for now. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you disagree with me on anything in this video, please do not act like a raging lunatic. Just tell me in a calm way, okay? And if you do respond as a raging lunatic, I will not, claim that people are, oh my God, harassment, and they just, people who talk out about gaming get harassed and blah, blah, blah.